man was suddenly awakened by licking. He took off his eye mask. In an instant, he was stunned. He found himself trapped on a cliff thousands of meters high, with a bottomless abyss below. He looked up and saw that his parachute was tangled in a dead tree, barely saving his life, but the entire wall was smooth, made of salt mine. How could he possibly climb up? The man thought of a solution. He quickly drew his dagger and precisely inserted it into his shoe. Then, he pulled out 2 more daggers and forcefully drove them into the salt mine. He put all his strength into it, climbing up desperately, just wanting to escape this hellish predicament. However, after climbing only 2 meters, the fragile daggers broke apart. The man lost his support and instantly plummeted down. Luckily, the parachute was still caught in the tree branches above. Before he could relax, the dead tree couldn't bear the weight and began to slowly crack. The man suddenly turned around, twisted the parachute ropes together, quickly drew his dagger, and frantically cut at the rope. Finally, just as the branches were about to snap, he successfully severed the rope. In the last second before the branches fell, he narrowly avoided disaster. At this point, his left foot was on the bare salt mine, his hands struggling to hold onto the cliff face. Just when he was on the brink of despair, the man spotted a goat above him, licking the salt from the mine. This sight sparked a glimmer of hope in his heart. Ignoring everything else, he decided to mimic the goat. With a sudden push, he placed his hands between the cliff faces. Below him was the bottomless abyss, and the scene made his scalp tingle. If he lost his footing, he would be shattered to pieces, but there was no way back. He had no choice but to imitate the goat's movements, carefully using both hands and feet to move upward on the cliff. After a long, arduous climb, he finally reached a protruding part of the cliff. Before he could catch his breath, the salt mine beneath his feet suddenly collapsed. In an instant, rocks flew and fell toward the abyss below. The man hurriedly climbed upward. He seized the opportunity, kicked off like the goat, and jumped upward. His hands grabbed the top of the cliff. At this point, the man was completely exhausted. No matter how hard he tried, it was nearly impossible to climb up. Suddenly, a goat appeared above him, glaring at him fiercely. The goat sniffed the air, realized he was not one of its kind, and without hesitation, butted him downward. Luckily, the man still had one hand firmly gripping the cliff edge, climbing upwards with all his might. But the goat wouldn't give up. It charged at him again. The man grabbed the goat's horns, and the goat, sensing the threat, panicked and quickly pulled back. The man's body was pulled to the top of the cliff. He collapsed to the ground, gasping for air. The man slowly raised his hand, gently stroking the goat that saved his life. His eyes filled with relief and gratitude.